Good morning, Judy here from Thistledew Creations, and today I'm going to work on some ephemera for my Easter junk journal. I'll give you a real quick flip through of it, but there's two other videos before this. One where I make the cover, and another one where I put the signature in and start on ephemera. So the signature is one that I have sent a duplicate signature to Wanda Ford in Nova Scotia, and I believe she's working on her own version of this Easter junk journal. Hers will be entirely different than mine. We didn't make any rules or parameters. We just said make one, and we're gonna trade them and trade them back. We're gonna send each other probably a swap box and include the junk journal in it, and then we'll do another swap a while later, probably not right after each other, just so that we spread them out. There's no rush to get it back, I don't think. So I sewed the signature in the last one, and I made this little booklet that goes in there. And I made these little tags and put them in this front pocket, and made this little side folder to go in just under the bag, under the plaid bag. So today I thought I would make some tags using the receipts that I sent along with the signature. And what I thought I would do is back them onto cardstock. So I'm kind of going to do a bit of a mass make. There's 4 green ones, 4 pink ones, and 4 yellow ones. So I thought I would just attach them all to cardstock, because that's really the only way I'll use them, is to attach them to cardstock. So I'm going to do some on white cardstock and some on craft colored cardstock, because for this journal I might want to use the white ones, but for other journals I don't usually use white. I'm just using white with the Easter because there is already a lot of white involved in it. It's sort of a cleaner subject matter, but I did tea dye or coffee dye my doily in the middle. Everything's not pure white, but I'll probably ink a little bit on the whites. So I thought I would just start by tearing them off the sheet, which is a perforation. These come out of a book. Like it was an actual hardcover book of receipts. And then I will tear them away from each other as well. I don't really care if my tears are perfect. Probably looks more true to life if they're not. Okay, so since we have a lot of pink in the book already, I think I'm going to do some yellow ones on the white. I'm just going to glue them down with glue stick. Put it onto the white card. I don't really want a border. I'm going to go right tight to the edges. This isn't terribly thick. This is the stuff from Dollarama. I don't know where my red card went yesterday. I had a credit card kind of thing. I don't know where it went to. Anyway, I'll do a couple of yellows and a couple of pinks, I think. Now, I'm not going to butt them tight together side by side because I want room to get my scissors in there. But I'll line up that bottom edge. And we should be able to get 4 across. And then once I've got these cut out, I will decorate some. I'm just going to do 1 page here, and then we'll go ahead and cut them out and proceed. I won't glue up the whole bunch. I'd like to. That's what I would do in real life, but I don't want to make you wait for all that. And I generally don't do a lot of editing. Haven't figured out how to splice 2 videos together or cut something out. I think I could figure it out, I just haven't done it. I can figure most things out on a computer. Well, that's going to be trickier to cut out. It's okay. Curling up a little bit. Let's just start with those for right now so that we can get a couple done. I'll grab my... Let's see how this works. I can get this lined up. Pretty good. I don't want them very thick because they're going to go into pockets that are pretty thin. I'd be better off to cut this off first. I can line it up easier. And I can see this top and bottom. So I didn't need room for my scissors after all, but that's all right. Now this, I almost would rather have that rough edge, but I'm kind of getting rid of it. I left that a little bit rough, so that's gonna have to do me. Okay, so at least I have 4 things to decorate now. So let's see how I want to do this. I think I'd like to do a light inking with just vintage photo. I'll do that just while my brain percolates. I've got some stuff sitting in front of me that I'm thinking of using, and I've never decorated receipts like this before. I've done playing cards and index cards, lots of ATCs. It's the same concept, just a different size. I think because of what these are, I'm not going to round any corners. I'm leaving that rough edge, just like it's been torn out of a book. just thickened them up a little bit just for durability, basically. And then, even though the backs of these were plain, it gives you a place to write on the back still. That's why I use plain paper. Becomes a journaling spot. These are pretty good as bookmarks too. Okay, so that's that. And then let's see what I've got to play with. I think I want them all going this way so that when I put them into the pockets, you can see these numbers sticking out. And let me just see, is there any, I do want one that goes, where was that pocket? Back here. In the front, there's a pocket. I don't know if these will be too long. Yeah, they're, oh no, that'll fit in there. So I could, it's almost too wide. It won't go in any further. I think what I want is something in there that doesn't stick out that far. So that one likely won't go there, but we'll definitely have one for here. And then I haven't got any other pockets, but I'll make some more pockets as I go. And let's see. I've got some chicks. Fussy cut. Well, just cut out really, not really fussy cut. And maybe what I'll do is break these into pairs. I'm just fussy cutting with my ripple scissors. I like to do that just so that it's a little more relaxed looking. And then when you get to places where there's hair and fuzz and stuff, you can kind of leave it kind of fuzzy. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of that grass below them. Just round those corners a bit. And then that might be the focal point on a pink one. And I've got like a Peter Rabbit kind of guy. You can go on a yellow one. He's kind of a greenish background. I don't want to make them all the same. I've got these two little critters. They kind of need to go sideways, which they could. And then I have these two little guys, which are awfully cute too. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe I'll do another chick one instead of Peter Rabbit. These chicks have like almost like an aura about them from the sunshine on their fluff. Peter can go with something else. And then need something poking out from underneath them in my colors. I do have some scraps of napkin here, so I might do some of that. The Easter eggs, especially on these ones with the bunnies. I just put that down and then put these on top. So let's just glue this up. And I want to get that jagged edge showing. So I'll let it hang off the edge. And I think I might actually cut that off, which is not my norm. I normally do it with the water. So there's that. Underneath the chicks, I can do something similar. I filled myself a new bottle of water yesterday. It's just a bottle that I got something in from craft section at Dollarama. I think it was Jingle Bells. And then again, Easter bunny, Easter eggs with the chicks maybe. Keeping the torn edge on the page. I like to see that. Maybe this one, since I've got this out now, I'll do the other way. And I'll do it just inside the page edge, like that. I'm not sure that's going to look the best. This might look better without the eggs behind it. I have some mauve paper that's a good length. Maybe what I'll do is just kind of tears a little straight for my liking, but at least it's torn. Into the edge. Let's see what I can do here with this. Maybe put it sort of like this, and then have these guys sitting there. It didn't tear on an angle for me, so I'll just put it on an angle. Kind of force it. You can see that this ticket is way out of square. I'm going to leave it. And I think I'll ink the edges of these guys. There's some background colors that, these are out of a Mary Maxim catalog. There's some stuff that was in the background that's kind of coming through, so this camouflages it. Mary Maxim catalog is a great one for seasonal characters like this. So they have little craft kits for every season. So this was a kit where you could buy the materials to make these, or the pattern to make these little guys. And so I'll just grab something to glue on here. Give them a good layer of the glue stick. And figure out where I want them. Towards the top, I think. cute. And then I have these eyelets that are pink and they're kind of like little flowers. So I thought I would put maybe an eyelet in each corner. Eyelet setter isn't too far away. Behind me here in my new craft cart. I got in a swap with Rami Pandler from out west somewhere. She sent me all kinds of different colors and shapes. And I sent her a bunch of beads. We had a great swap. I think I'm going to use these pink ones, like I said, especially on this one. I might use the yellow on the pink. Pink on the yellow and the yellow on the pink. I haven't used this thing in a while. This is off of Temu. Comes with a nice case. So you punch yourself a hole. Where's my hole puncher part? On the side. You can set the depth of the hole, like how far it is from the edge. Punch your little hole. Stick your, I can never remember what these eyelet, I always want to call them grommets, but they're eyelets. Now this one needs the larger hole from the other side, over here. So the trick now is for me to get it lined up. There, that's going to work. And then put that in the middle and just squeeze. And you don't have to squeeze real hard, so it's not really hard on your hands. I suppose if you were doing 100 of them in one day, it might get hard on your hands, but I found it in general to be pretty easy. Now, one thing I don't have a lot of is sentiments for Easter. I have a few little cute pictures. I don't have a whole lot, really, when it comes to Easter stuff. I think I'm going to put one Easter egg sort of sitting beside them there. And I think I'm going to do a blue one. This one. And maybe because that's so soft and subtle, then maybe I need to do like an outline around it. I'm gonna let that glue dry first. And I do have some little tickets, but maybe I'll just see if I have just some pink tickets. I have some with pink roses on them, little stamps. I think that's what I'm after. tickets and labels. I have in both, a little bit of both of them here. These are love ones. They're Valentine's Day themed. There's just a pink ticket of some sort. So that could go, what does this say? Coat room check. And I think I'll just cut one of those off. Glue it down. Overlapping there. And then as far as other labels, I have lots of colors, so I might want a green. Possibly, a lot of these are pretty vintage looking, but I could do some neutral. There's a little bit of a yellow. I see something purple. It's just sort of a piece of square die cut. And there's something green. Could use those in behind the chicks maybe. There's a mini postcard. Leave that out too. And lots of reds. I don't think I need reds. Something pink. Just a little squiggle of die cut. Kind of a fresh green color. Oh, there's some more mauve. I'm going to use up the pastels now because I don't use them a lot other times. That's why I don't have a lot of them, because I don't use them very much. Okay, let's just set these off to the side, but where I can get to them. Let's see, is that one done? I think it needs just some buttons or something. I'm gonna put my green buttons away today, so I think I'll grab a green button while I've got them out. I'm gonna actually put some of them into my other button container. I saw an interesting way to use a shank button on YouTube last night. I might have to try it on this journal. So these buttons stay out on my desk all the time. I might have, don't have very many green ones in there because I've separated all the green ones out for St. Patrick's Day. And maybe a pink. Or just a white pearly one. There's always plenty of those, isn't there? I hate breaking them apart. I've got them sewn together in little bunches, and I really want to keep them some of them at least, together like that, so that when I do my little button cards, they're already matched up for me. Okay, so I think these 3 buttons, actually this could be my 3rd element here, so I might just do 2 buttons like that. And I'll use the 3-in-1 for that. I like the 3 different sizes and 3 different colors going on there. And then, I don't know what I'm going to do for string yet. I think I'll leave that till the end because that's a whole different thing to drag out. So I'll let that dry. I know this is going to need a little bit of reinforcing. But all in all, that's pretty good. So that's that one. And then let's try one with the chicks. And I left this green out thinking it would be good for kind of in behind the chicks, maybe down at the bottom. This way. I haven't got anything else on the front here. I think I'll use up this little scrap at least. Oh, excuse me, I was trying to stifle that and it just wouldn't stifle. I've already ripped into this section, so I'm going to take another little piece off. I'm just going to rip it with my fingers instead of the water. And put it, I don't want to cover the number, but I'll put it over here. Tear that top edge off. Use up all your little bits of napkin. I was throwing all these little pieces away when I first started using napkins, and then I thought, well, you know, they're good for just random little decorations on a page. Might as well use them. They're hard to use in clusters unless you use them like on top of another piece of paper. There's no reason you can't. And it gives it kind of a neat, random, wispy look. So that gives a bit of background. And then I'm going to ink my green element. This is just my little touch of spring. In fact, let's make it into 2. Just like that. And again, I don't need to make it into 2. Enough stuff. Do that, and then ink around my duckies. my chicks. Doesn't have to be all about bunnies. I think this came out of a magazine that I got when I was in St. Jacobs. It was kind of like a farm ad of some sort. Can't remember now. And then a couple of little tickets we'll use. Well, we don't want to use a pink one on there because it won't be really showing up very much. We'll use yellow one. And I like to do this too, to get more use out of them. And I just think it looks better sometimes if it's sort of half on the page. So kind of like that. And then pink or a yellow grommet. Not grommet. I want to say Brad, and I know that's wrong. Help me out, folks. What are these things called? Eyelet. My brain is in there. It's just waking up. It's not quite as dull as it was yesterday. I did get some rest. And my project is underway, so I've been working on it in my head all night long. So something like that would be cute, but it's not quite the right color. Maybe a little snippet of some other paper, like that purple paper. What did I do with it? There's this purple paper too. I'll cut a little piece of it. Rip a little piece of it. Just kind of random, willy-nilly. Have that. This is where I cut out the doily from the center of the book. Glued it down to the paper and then I cut around it. I think I want that cut off. And then because it's more of a cardstock, I'm just going to go right in with the tacky glue. And I'm going to use the square bottom edge to line that up, and then that goes off on a bit of an angle, which is kind of neat. You can still see what it is underneath, that it's a sales receipt. Maybe the sales receipt from buying the chicks. And then these little bunny fellers, I'm just going to put them up close to the top. I don't mind if they're covering up part of the number. And then what will I do down below them? It doesn't need much else, but maybe something else along one of the edges. Like this pink might go okay now. This is just a die cut out of those die cut books from the Dollarama. When I got mine, I took them all out of the books and sorted them into different areas. I'm not sure that that was the best idea because I haven't used them much, because then I would have to go looking for them. But that is what I did. But I am going to be working on some organization. I'm trying to do a little bit of organization every time before I sit down to craft, whether it's housework organization or craft organization, one or the other. Just trying not to just craft, because I've been doing that for a while, just letting everything else go because I was stressed. And now it's time to get back to taking care of my house, especially with spring coming. I don't typically do like a whole spring cleaning routine, but I think this year there's going to have to be a bit more of that kind of thing done, just because I was away so much this winter. My house is a mess. And partly that's because, you know, we haven't had company, so there's no urgency to get things cleaned up. It's just us. It's our own junk. It's our own messes, but I want it better. Now, if I find some little Eastery words, I've got somewhere to put them by putting this on there. And then a yellow eyelet. Right through his ear. Her ear. I don't have any tickets. I have that half ticket that's kind of yellow that can go over here or even down here. And the other thing I could add on to all of these is postage stamps. I haven't done any postage stamps yet on these. And let's get this part done first. So we're going to do the chicks. Let's do them with a little mauve bow coming down from the top. Was that supposed to hang down? No, it's supposed to be hanging. I hate those little nibs from the die cut. So I'm going to put that just like that, so it looks like it's coming down from the top edge. Some of the darker die cuts that were all like really dark brown and dark gray, and colors I don't, sometimes I use them as accent, but I don't use a lot of the really dark shades. And I made a master board with them, with all the die cuts. It turned out neat. So this will be staggered off to one side here. And I think maybe a little ticket. I've got more of that green square. Oh, I can use this purple. I'm going to rip it kind of on an angle. Put it over this way. And then This is a little more central. And I'll use another one of these 0303 tickets, just for another touch of pink. I got this mauve button that still has some thread in it. Must have been cut off of a blouse or something. I'm going to put it right here. Maybe a little big, but I think it'll look pretty there. And a pink eyelet. So there's this side thing here that when you squeeze, a hole cutter, a puncher comes out. And then there's a little nub in there that I put inside the eyelet and then squeeze. And that's basically spreading this stuff out on the back so that it stays in there. Now these two didn't get buttons, so let's put a couple of buttons on these. So there's a pretty pink. It goes with that pretty well. Put it up there. And then that one could use some yellow, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of yellow. Well, there's one hiding way down in the bottom. And that one could use some blue. Sorry, I hold these off camera. Don't need to. I don't want to cover those letters, so I'm going to do these up here. It's a little stringy. Might be time to put some acetone in it. And then these ones, I think maybe down here, although right here would be good. If I keep them up towards the top, then they can go in a pocket and be sticking up out of the pocket. So I'm just doing 3 little daubs. I didn't really plan out where these go, but I'll put this purple one up here. This very pale pink one on top of the blue. And then the blue beside the blue bunny's scarf. So I'm pretty happy with those. I'm going to make some more. I might do another video where I make more. I might even make some of these receipts into pockets too. These ones will be tags because they have the little place for a string. but I have something fun that I want to put in the pockets. So I could make some like this, horizontal, that create a pocket or a tuck spot. But I want to, before I close out this video, I want to figure out what the what kind of string or cord to put through here. I have some green string that it's thread, but it's really, well, it's between a thread and a yarn. Maybe I'll just use some of this. Keep it kind of neutral. At least on these ones that have the green accent. So I'm just gonna double it up again, and double it up again. And then I'm gonna take that and poke it through. Put my finger through the loop and then pull those ends through, and then I'm going to cut off the ends of the loop. And one of those loops stayed really short. I'll just cut it. And then if you're concerned about that coming undone, you can just put a little dab of glue, whichever type. This glue dries the fastest, so I tend to use it. 3-in-1 glue. Just so it doesn't come undone. So now that relates to this green and just gives you a springy feel. So I'll do that on these two. So I'm doing about a yard, I guess. And then just folding it up. Just because it's kind of thin. If it was thicker yarn, you don't have to do so many layers. And then kind of get it compact, enough to get through that little eyelet. If you don't have fingernails, you might want tweezers or something to grab it from behind. In the center of the loop. And push those ends through. It's kind of confusing because they're all loops this time, but this one I'm going to let it go to the side because it's kind of closer to the side than it is to the top. It's a little different. That's those two. And then what do I want on these ones? I think something different. I have some mauve. This is off of a blouse, I believe, that I had, the top. Don't think I want the little knot in the end. And I'm just going to cut a piece about 6 inches long and cut 2 the same. So if you're taking apart clothing to get rid of it because it's soiled or ripped, don't forget to salvage things like buttons, off of it, or string like this that you can use, especially if it's not soiled or worn looking. It's a great way to do a memory journal if you have like your children's clothing. I'll hook that right through, get that loop, and put the ends through the loop. It's called a lark's head knot. And that may be a little long, but we'll leave it that way for now. It can always be shortened later. I can't lengthen it. And one more. So I saw on Facebook yesterday that Wanda's also working on her Easter journal, so I can't wait to see what hers turns out like. I wonder if she'll think of using these receipts as tags as well. I bet you she will. We seem to do a lot of similar things. Certainly not identical, but similar. So anyway, there's our 4 tags. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my process. I don't plan things out ahead very often. I do them on the fly, and sometimes that is good and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it makes for strange videos, but I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm happy with how they turned out, other than them needing to be flattened, but that will come as they get stuck in the books. They'll flatten out. So like, comment, share, and subscribe most of all. Have a great day. Happy crafting.